You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right, folks, out of Chicago, breaking news. Mayor Lori Lightfoot has released the documents that show numerous Chicago police officers straight up lied when it came to the death of Laquan McDonald. A story that dropped, she promised, first of all, to during the campaign to release all documentation related to the shooting of Laquan McDonald. What we now know is that Chicago police commanders knowingly submitted reports that were absolutely lies. In fact, this is going to trip you out. One of those commanders actually presented a report after actually looking at the video, knowing full well it was a lie. This is a story from WBEZ Radio in Baltimore. Go to my iPad, please. Lightfoot releases records on police cover-up for officer who killed Laquan McDonald. The story says the record consists of reports from Inspector General Joseph Ferguson recommending discipline for 16 officers based on his office's 2016-2017 probe into the police department's handling of the shooting. Now, the 16 officers investigated, including 11 officers that Ferguson recommended for dismissal in the alleged cover-up. Now, check this out. The officers included David McNaughton, a deputy chief of patrol at the time of the shooting, Eugene Roy, a commander in the Bureau of Detectives. Both of them retired before any discipline. This story says that McNaughton, according to a 28-page summary, approved false police reports by officers even after he had watched the video, which contradicted key aspects of those reports. Also, another commander let stand reports containing materially false statements and conclusions despite viewing video of the shooting within hours of its occurrence and possessing ongoing knowledge of the investigation as it unfolded. I want to bring in my panel now to talk about this. A. Scott Bolden, former chair, National Bar Association Political Action Committee. Also, Lawn Victoria Burke, NNPA. Monique Presley, legal analyst and crisis manager. Scott, here's first of all what's interesting here. And to me, again, this is a problem when you have these contracts. Mm-hmm. For the officers to retire before any discipline. I believe, you know what? If all of a sudden you're facing discipline charges, it's sort of like you should be forced to stay on the force. There should be some way where they are impacting the pensions of these officers when they lie. For these commanders to have seen the video and then still lie, it's an indictment of former Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who fought the release of the Laquan McDonald video because they knew what it was going to show. They were willing to allow these cops' lies to stand.
Yeah, you know, the thin blue line is alive and well. You often hear me talk about my days as a prosecutor in New York, but the thin blue line is alive and well. The release of these documents, not for the new mayor, you never even be talking about this because it usually doesn't get released. One way to keep the police honest and the police unions is to reduce their ability or their success in lobbying for these state rules in 50 states, because they are one of the strongest lobbyists ever that protect themselves. But the way you would fix what you just described as stand on the force for discipline is, at the end of each police report, internal or otherwise, make them fill that out under penalty of perjury. And if they leave the force because they know the hit of the hammer that's coming, then you can either prosecute them internally or prosecute them publicly vis-a-vis the state's attorney's office for approving something that they knew was false. You clean up most police departments in a heartbeat, big or small.
Lauren, that's the issue. If those officers know their pension is going to be affected, their money is going to be affected, and their job is going to be affected, I think overnight you're going to see a lot of this crap cut out. But they know right now they can lie on reports, and unless somebody else reports them, unless somebody else says that that's false. Matter of fact, that was one of the newspapers, I think sometime the Tribune did an analysis, where there was a judge who reported officers to the body that investigates cops, saying, I know for a fact that these cops are committing perjury. The judge said they lied on the witness stand, reported them, nothing was done, and then when the report came out, oh, now we'll look into it. And even that review board was not going to, the accountability board wasn't going to do anything these officers, when they know they can lie, they will do it to get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, law enforcement is effectively a protected class. I mean, in most jurisdictions, particularly large jurisdictions like Chicago and New York and these big departments.
Oh, the smaller ones are worse.
Well, small
Try
ones
West
to me is
Virginia.
like less training too is also involved in smaller ones, and less qualifications to become a police officer. And until you change that, obviously we've talked about this a lot of times, and until you make the individual officers accountable, or in fact somebody over them accountable, it'll never change. And we'll just have these large payouts to individual people that are, you know, are killed or harmed in some other way by police, and the taxpayers end up paying for it over and over again. And that's the cycle. And really, it's a political cycle because, of course, they have so much political power over our politicians. Politicians generally do not want to get crosswise with law enforcement in any way, or the unions. So it continues.
And the reason, and you know what? The reason they settle these cases before the 1983 actions get fully involved and the lawsuits even filed is because they don't want to create a pattern and practice of abusive behavior like this, so that the ones that do get filed will get dismissed.
Monet, there's one detective, Detective David March, according to this story here, approved and helped craft March's conclusions. There's one lieutenant who was in the chain of command, helped craft the detective's conclusions backing Van Dyke, who, of course, was found guilty of killing Laquan McDonald. The ID's report accused this officer, Wojcik, Anthony Wojcik, quote, of bringing discredit upon CPD by overseeing and participating in an untruthful, improperly documented, and unprofessional investigation of the shooting, and by improperly disposing of material evidence during the investigation. Now, one, the only reason we know about this ID's report being released is because Lori Lightfoot became mayor. Again, Ron McDonald was going to cover for these cops, like he did by fighting the release of that videotape. Rahm Emanuel. The only reason this man got convicted is because that tape was forced out in the public, and Emanuel did not want that to ever happen.
On a FOIA request.
Right, and I'm sure that the lawyers who are in a similar position to one I was in for over a decade did not want that to come out either. It's not just former Mayor Rahm out there by himself. Listen, when you do something like those officers did, that's a crime. It's not an administrative matter. So while I understand why people may want to try enforcement through pension is something like your retirement or mine that's gained over time, and the people who actually end up suffering are their families. So I don't know if that is an adequate first line of defense. I think if you commit a crime, then the first line of defense is you being prosecuted for the crime that you committed.
Do both.
I think that, well, but that's the thing.
Yeah, but why not charge him with conspiracy?
But that's why I said, if you commit a crime, then what's supposed to happen is you get charged with a crime, whether the crime is perjury, whether it's conspiracy, whether it's aiding and abetting in furtherance of committing a conspiracy, whatever it is, you do that, right? But there has to be process, Roland. What I'm saying is you don't just hold somebody's pension in abeyance and say, because we think you did something we can't prove, or because we have this unofficial report, or because we have an investigative report that is not part of an official process, we're going to take from you what you earned for 20 years.
No. First of all, that's not what I said. What I said is, if somebody is facing a disciplinary hearing, you allow that process to go forward, but you don't allow them to retire, and then when you retire, it shuts down the whole hearing. It's like, well, they've retired, we really can't do anything. So, for instance, General Kip Ward, who's over the African Command, 4-star general. There was an investigation in the Pentagon where they concluded that he took improper flights to Germany, brought his wife along on different trips or whatever. When he was forced to retire and was bumped from a 4-star to a 3-star in retirement. That had a direct impact on what his pension was. So he lost one of his stars. What I'm saying is, if these cops know that if I lie on reports, if I make stuff up, I can't just easily retire and get all of my pension. If they know that their pocketbook is somehow impacted, that changes. This is America. If you want to get somebody's attention, mess with their money.
As long as it goes both ways, because what if it's the case that they're accused of lying, did not, and are fired a day before their pension, like just happened in the federal system with what's his name? who's suing Trump and the Trump
McCabe.
administration for McCabe.
Right.
So you can't get fired the day before you're due to earn your full retirement.
I got you.
Based
Yeah, but
on
why not
trumped-up
just prosecute
charges.
them?
I know, I'm
You
saying
got this report. Prosecute them.
The Office of Inspector General in Chicago
Prosecute
could
them.
prosecute Van Dyke.
Yeah, why
Stop
won't
it,
Lloyd-
the city of
They
Chicago.
Lloyd-
There's a reason.
Because they're cops.
Well,
So
I know,
what?
but I mean, they can't. The city of Chicago could
This is
actually
blatant
prosecute them.
perjury and a blatant cover.
I'm telling you.
Conspiracy, aiding and abetting. Prosecute.
I agree, but that's the fundamental problem. That, again, you don't see that happen, and that, to me, is why folks don't trust these cops, and when they sit here and lie, and that, again, that is a huge issue that we constantly see all across this country. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, that's my frat, Gerald Albright there. We're going to be in Cabo November 7th through the 11th for the second annual Luxe Jazz Experience. It's an unbelievable lineup of folks there, 14 different acts, including Gerald Albright, Alex Bunyan, Raul Madon, Shalea, Roy Ayers, Ernest Quarles, Johnny McClurkin. It's going to be an unbelievable gathering there. Of course, if you want to be able to go to LifeLuxeJazz.com, LifeLuxeJazz.com. But if you can't make it there, you can still get your live stream pass, courtesy of GFNTV.com. That's GFNTV.com. Live stream pass, $10.99. You'll get access to all 3 days, 14 different acts performing at the Luxe Jazz Festival. And again, the website you want to go to is gfntv.com. Would love for you to check it out. I'll be broadcasting Roland Martin Unfiltered from there on Thursday and Friday. And again, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you can check out all of the fantastic concerts there at the second annual Luxe Jazz Experience, LifeLuxeJazz.com. And of course, to get the live stream pass, gfntv.com. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.